What is up, guys? It's me, the ALE Prince, and I'm back with the What If videos. And this one, I've had second thoughts on it because deep down, I didn't like the illegitimate son angle. Thought it was pretty fucking stupid, if you ask me. I didn't like it one bit. Um, as far as was it truly good for business? You could debate it. You could truly debate it. Um, so I thought of what would have happened if Jason Jordan never got injured. And then I inserted him in possible storylines. And I said to myself, this would have been much better with Chad Gable. So sure enough, I changed Jason Jordan with Chad Gable. And then I moved it around. And I was like, yo, this is better storytelling. Because Chad Gable is better at promos. He's more charismatic. He's funnier. And he's way much better in the ring. Not that Jason Jordan wasn't, but you could tell he needed something else. So, and plus, Chad Gable has a more realistic storyline of, because even if Jason Jordan were to reveal that he wasn't Kurt Angle's biological son, um, the reveal would have been like, uh, okay, um, well, not just because he's black, but it's because he just wasn't as like charismatic. Like, imagine him with his corny ass promos, like, "Hey, Kurt, I'm not really your son. I was just joking." Like, ew, it would not work. Chad Gable, on the other hand, could actually cut better promos. So, sure enough, let's insert him. What if Chad Gable was Kurt Angle's illegitimate son? So, we'll start off with the reveal. Kurt Angle announces that he has an illegitimate son. That person is Chad Gable, and then we just have him hug it out, and then the next week on Raw, instead of showing up to work, Kurt Angle and Chad Gable go and they do fun things, like go on roller coasters, do all kinds of cheesy things that a son and a father would do. It would be very funny and entertaining. It will show Chad Gable's charisma. And the next week on Raw, Miz TV with special guest Chad Gable, and the Miz believes that Chad Gable will um, try to work his way up the card and prove to the fans that he's just a fraud. And I mean, we've seen some of his work on SmackDown. Like, he had a good match with AJ Styles. He had a good match with Kevin Owens. So clearly, we know that he could work. But we do not see Chad Gable wrestle until SummerSlam. And Chad Gable insists that they do Kurt Angle and Chad Gable versus The Miz and the Miztourage. And Kurt Angle says, "No, I'm retired. I am done with professional wrestling. But I do got you some tag team partners. Meet your tag team partners, the Hardy Boys." So at SummerSlam, it's going to be The Miz and the Miztourage versus Jeff, Matt, Hardy, and Chad Gable. And it will be on the kickoff, unfortunately, but it's not that big of a match. But the biggest thing out of it is that Chad Gable makes The Miz tap out to the ankle lock, his new finishing move. Chad Gable um, is celebrating with the Hardy Boys, and Kurt Angle believes that Chad Gable is good, but he hasn't seen enough of his singles run. So he has a couple of singles matches against like under mid carders. Let's say Chad Gable versus Apollo Cruz, or Chad Gable versus Kalisto. So we don't put him up there with the top main event talents yet, but we give him some match. And then the Miz is trying to kind of he's kind of feuding with the Hardy Boys for a brief second until they announce that they're gonna do a battle royal to determine the number one contender for the IC belt at No Mercy. And Chad Gable wins. So then at No Mercy is The Miz versus Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship. You guessed it, The Miz wins. And Chad Gable is so upset that he lost, but he realized that the Miztourage were definitely a big help. So the next week on Raw, he beat the shit out of Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, um, just and, and annihilates him with a chair. And then Kurt Angle's like, "Yo, what are you doing? Like, yo, we need all the talent possible, and you're just destroying talent." He's like, "Oh yeah, well I'm not gonna stop until I get another shot with the Miz for the Intercontinental Champion." And then he's like, "Come on," and Chad is like, "Come on, Dad, you know deep down that I could beat the Miz." And basically it shows that Chad Gable's talking himself into doing what he wants. So at TLC, yet again, we do the Miz and Chad Gable. In the main event, it'll be a TLC match for the Raw Tag Team Championship, Cesaro and Sheamus versus The Bar. Originally was supposed to be uh, the Shield reunite against Braun Strowman and The Bar, but because Roman Reigns had to take time off after his illness, we will put Braun Strowman in another match, maybe against I don't know who is available on the roster. Maybe Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman versus Samoa Joe on the undercard, and then we do uh the main event being Seth and Dean versus The Bar, tag team belts on the line. That would be fun. But anyways, Miz and Chad Gable, they have another match, but this time the Miz wins clean. So it was a big shocker. No interference from the Miztourage. Maurice is gone, but now it shows that Miz is also now being a top talent, and Chad Gable helped them to get to that point. So something that's going to be very important in this rebooking is that Chad Gable will help build um, the next uh, the next generation. He's going to be a big part of helping the next top tier talents. And he just helped the Miz have two really good matches. And now it's up to Survivor Series, where now around this time they wanted to do Triple H versus Kevin Owens. Unfortunately, that never happened. But if we were to tease it, this would be the perfect time. So at Survivor Series, it is announced that the co-captains of Team SmackDown will be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Those guys will be the captains. And then Triple H says, I'm the GM. And they refuse to give me a match with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. So the best way to do it is to be the leader of Team Raw. And then Kurt Angle's like, you can't just like come out of nowhere and just be the leader just because you're Triple H and you're the game. How about the young talents? I mean, you invented NXT. You should know anything about building talents. And he's like, all right, you pick the four um, my four tag team partners. Um, and sure enough, those tag team partners are Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, and Chad Gable. And Triple H laughs at the idea that Chad Gable is going to be up there. But Chad Gable proves himself uh, and basically gets the upper hand on Triple H. They have a 5 minute match where it's basically if Chad Gable could last 5 minutes in the ring with Triple H, then he will be a part of the match. So basically, we're gonna make Chad Gable a baby face because Chad Gable is actually a really good baby face. So just like in real life, the final the final four, so from Team Raw, the final three will be Triple H, Chad Gable, and Braun Strowman, and then Randy Orton will get the upper hand. So then we do Chad Gable and Randy Orton. It looks like Chad Gable is about to make Randy Orton tap out, but then the Triple H refuses. Hits the pedigree on Chad Gable. Randy Orton pins him, and then it looks like we're doing an Evolution reunion against Braun Strowman. But then Triple H pedigrees Randy Orton. 1, 2, 3. Team Raw wins, and then we do Braun Strowman throw Triple H and does a power bomb on him. And Chad Gable's like, "Hey, Kurt, or Dad, I should say. I didn't like that Triple H did that, and I'm pissed off, and I want Triple H next. And he's like, listen, Triple H is a very busy man, and after the beating that Braun Strowman gave him after Survivor Series, we can't do it. And then he's like, damn it, Dad, just let me prove to you. He's like, fine, you want to prove to me? In the main event, it's you and Braun Strowman. And matter of fact, the winner will face Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. So it's Braun Strowman versus Chad Gable. You probably predicted, but Braun Strowman squashes Chad Gable, and then it's Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. And now Chad Gable's trying to redeem himself. Now he's trying to be number 30 in the Royal Rumble, but then that's gonna make people hate him because now you're starting to see that Chad Gable is just begging and pleading for shit. So sure enough, he finds a way and he's number 30 in the Royal Rumble. He walks in and everybody jumps him, and then they all throw him out. Everybody who's in the ring, they all jump Chad Gable and then throw him out, and which pisses him off. Um, One of the people who threw him out was John Cena. And now on the Raw after the Rumble, it's John Cena versus Chad Gable. The winner enters the Elimination Chamber match. John Cena beats Chad Gable, and then Chad Gable just walks away like this was not supposed to happen. And then we do uh for starters, Chad Gable was nowhere in the Elimination Chamber card, and Kurt Angle's too busy recruiting Ronda Rousey for a big time contract. And and then Kurt Angle's like, fine, you give me no choice. I can't ground you. You're a grown ass man, but I could suspend you. So for 30 days, you're suspended. And Kurt Angle was the one that's supposed to uh, sign in Ronda Rousey, but Kurt Angle no shows the Elimination Chamber. It's heard that he got in a car accident. So Stephanie McMahon had to go and do it. And then this will build up to Ronda Rousey versus Stephanie McMahon in a one-on-one match. Then we do have this a storyline of who ran over Kurt Angle, and then it's revealed that it's Chad Gable, and then he reveals that uh I was never Kurt Angle's son, and all I wanted was to be at the top. Um I try to get Kurt Angle to come out of retirement. I had to leave my shitty tag team partner, Jason Jordan. He is basically just ripping on everybody. And then Kurt Angle, he is eligible to compete. Like, he's still eligible to compete, but he definitely is going to be having some shows. So, Kurt Angle said, fine, one more match. You leave me no choice. One more match. Chad Gable, Kurt Angle, and Chad Gable beats Kurt Angle and retires Kurt Angle for good. Chad Gable is now the biggest heel in the WWE right now. So it's like, holy shit, what the hell is next for Chad Gable? And then he says that he's going to need a recruitment, someone who's vicious and violent and really could be a big time star. And that person is Drew McIntyre. So basically what I'm doing is I'm replacing Dolph Ziggler with Chad Gable, and we're gonna do that bond with those two because that would honestly be way much better chemistry. And then, um, so just like in real life, Seth Rollins drops the belt to Dolph Ziggler. Um, yeah, Seth drops the belt to Dolph Ziggler after Money in a Bank, but this time he'll drop it to Chad Gable, and Chad Gable is like happy he finally won the one belt he's been dying to get ever since he was a kid. But he's like, it's time for those teary moments to stop because I am the damn champion, and you have it. And so then at Extreme Rules, we do the Iron Man match. Hopefully the fucking fans are not bitchy and assholes about it. But the biggest thing that comes out of this match, so the match ends in a tiebreaker. And then it ends with Chad Gable and Drew McIntyre beating the shit out of Seth Rollins until from the crowd, you see Dean Ambrose come out, kind of like an all in. Remember a Double or Nothing? To last year when it was Jericho and Omega, and then Moxley came and attacked both men. Well, we're gonna do something similar, but Dean Ambrose will defend Seth Rollins, so it's gonna be uh Seth and Gable versus or Seth and Dean versus Drew and Chad Gable, and because there was never a definitive winner, it was a draw. Seth Rollins proposes one more match for the Intercontinental Championship, and this time it'll be a ladder match, um, which will be an even bigger race. And if Drew McIntyre tries to interfere, he's gonna have Dean Ambrose have his back. And basically, we're gonna do a tag team match, but I mean it's a one-on-one ladder match, but it's basically a ladder match. Don't worry, Dean Ambrose and Drew McIntyre will like probably run off and like fight backstage, and then the main focus will still be Seth and Chad Gable. But then Seth Rollins wins back the Intercontinental Championship, and it shows that Chad Gable needs Drew McIntyre to win because this is the different type of Chad Gable. He is furious, and the night after SummerSlam, it's announced that they're gonna do a tag team number one contenders match uh, for the tag team championships. Seth and Dean are in it as well as Drew and Gable, and the first thing they do is take out Seth and Dean out of that battle royal. The final two will be I can't think of a babyface tag team, but Drew McIntyre will be the one to eliminate that tag team. And then Chad Gable and Drew McIntyre are set for the next week on Raw to take on Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. You guessed it. Uh, Dean Ambrose, Chad Gable and Drew McIntyre win the tag team championships. And then at Hell in a Cell, it's Chad Gable and Drew McIntyre versus Seth and Dean, like in real life. Drew McIntyre gets the victory by pinning the Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins. They go on like a winning spree against tag teams like the Revival and stuff like that. Titus Worldwide. I can't think of any more tag teams, but you get the gist of it. But the night Roman Reigns has to vacate the belt for leukemia, we keep the exact same thing where we have Seth and Dean win the belts as a tribute to Roman Reigns to get better, but then that's the night where Dean Ambrose turns heel, just like in real life. Something you should know is that Drew McIntyre will enter the World Cup tournament from Crown Jewel, and he goes the distance. So the original plan was that the final two were supposed to be Drew McIntyre and Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy is a lot older now. He's having trouble like still standing. Drew McIntyre truly got injured in one of his matches. So replacing him will be Chad Gable. And then Chad Gable beats up Jeff Hardy, pins him 1, 2, 3. Chad Gable is the best in the world. And this will give people major nuclear heat to Chad Gable because it's like he stole a spot from Drew McIntyre, a guy people love because around this time Drew McIntyre got over. So now Chad Gable took his moment. I mean, he didn't mean to. He just had to replace Drew McIntyre. And then at Survivor Series, they're both part of a Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. We're not doing that whole Raw clean SmackDown. We'll have some even matches, but Raw will win this match with the sole survivor being Drew McIntyre. Chad Gable gets eliminated. He's actually the first person eliminated in the match after like a second. He's the first one out, which pisses off Chad Gable because he's gonna be an angry little man. Around this time, Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman are feuding. So at TLC, it's set Braun Strowman versus Drew McIntyre in a chairs match. And it ends with Chad Gable screwing over Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman getting the victory. And then the final episode of Raw, it's going to be Drew McIntyre versus Chad Gable. Loser leaves Raw. So Drew McIntyre wins. Chad Gable goes to SmackDown, and now he's going to be a bigger star there. And if you watch my rebooking of Shinsuke Nakamura, I mentioned that there's going to be a multi-man ladder match for the United States Championship. Chad Gable will be in that match. And Chad Gable will also win that match because it wouldn't make sense for him go from retiring Kurt Angle to losing in just a random ladder match. Might as well give him the United States Championship. So up to this point, Chad Gable has been an IC champion, SmackDown Tag Team Champion with the American Alpha, a Raw Tag Team Champion with Drew McIntyre, and now he's the United States Champion. But he will lose the belt at uh, Super Showdown against the debuting Aleister Black. So Chad Gable loses the belt to Aleister Black, and then Chad Gable will take some time off just to uh, revitalize himself, and people will miss him slightly, but um, something that should be well known is when he comes back around this time, Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn were feuding with Mustafa Ali. So on a SmackDown, they announced a tag team match. It's Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn versus Mustafa Ali, and a tag team partner of his choosing. That person is Chad Gable. He returns as a babyface. They win, and then at SummerSlam, it's Mustafa Ali versus Shinsuke Nakamura, where Nakamura wins. That's not important. What's important is what comes next. King of the Ring. Um, just like in real life, Chad Gable goes the distance. He makes it to the semifinals, but fails to win King of the Ring. Instead, he loses it not to Baron Corbin, but Bobby Lashley, because Bobby Lashley is way more deserving of that. I'm planning on doing a rebooking of Bobby Lashley down the road, so it'll be connected eventually. But yeah, so stay tuned for a rebooking of Bobby Lashley down the road. But anyways, Chad Gable loses around this time. They do the this is gonna be controversial, but they're gonna do the Shorty G storyline. We're doing the Shorty G storyline. Bobby Lashley keeps getting the upper hand on Chad Gable, or in this case, Shorty G. Chad Gable said, "You know what? Yeah, I am short, but guess what? I beat Kurt Angle. I won every belt except the world title. So I'm gonna embrace who I am." And sure enough, he turns into Shorty G, but people are not taking him serious. He still has some great top notch showing. He'll still be part of the Survivor Series tag elimination. Um, and just like in real life, he'll face Sheamus at the Royal Rumble on the pre-show, where Sheamus will beat Chad Gable or Shorty G, whatever. And then it is announced that Chad Gable has been released from the WWE. Couple of weeks go by, and Chad Gable is just losing it on the media, saying that you know they just didn't know what to do with me next. They had to give me some time off. I wasn't injured. I wasn't suspended. I took some time off. They told me to go home because they had nothing for me. And then I come back and they made me into a joke, Shorty G. I embraced it. And what do they do in return? They fire me. The guy who, fought Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 34, won every belt possible. And now they just retire me. But guess what? I'm going to be a big star. I could be a big star somewhere else. I don't need the WWE. So basically, he loses it on WWE. No, he's not going to AEW. Calm down. And a lot of people are probably going to say, are you copying Adam Blampier? No, I'm not. Not in particularly, because I'm going to tweak some stuff that he does differently. But you guessed it. I'm doing the hacker storyline where a hacker has been messing with the show. People theorize it could be Mustafa Ali. Some people could even say, "Oh, sure, maybe it's CM Punk," and it will be Chad Gable, but his reveal will be um, a lot sooner than you think. Um, so around this time, Sami Zayn had to vacate the belt. So the Hackers debuted the exact same way. You know, vignettes or like pop ups on SmackDown occasionally. Then he reveals Otis, uh, or the Dolph Ziggler that he reveals to the people that Dolph Ziggler and Sonya Deville hacked or messed Otis's date with Mandy Rose. That still happens, and we still have little parts of him showing up. Around this time, Mustafa Ali returns to SmackDown as a regular in-ring competitor, and on the tournament, uh, it's Sheamus versus Mustafa Ali, where Mustafa Ali wins with the help of the hacker, who reveals to the world that Sheamus um, was the one who trashed Jeff Hardy. And now we're gonna do the whole Jeff Hardy storyline a little bit different, um, where Jeff Hardy will still be in jail. He still needs to get out of jail. But Mustafa Ali is kind of like there at the right place at the right time. He gets the pinfall, but then Mustafa Ali loses to AJ Styles cleanly the next week. But it'll get us some good showing. It's showing that the hacker has a love going for Mustafa Ali, making people think, oh shit, he's the hacker. And Mustafa Ali's like, honestly, I don't know who the hacker is. It's not me. People keep thinking it's me, but I really have no idea what the hell is going on. And then um, a group of masked men invades SmackDown. Basically, I'm doing the Retribution storyline, but we're not doing them invading Raw and SmackDown. They're just invading SmackDown. And one of the masked people takes off their hoodie, and it's Mia Yim from NXT. People are shocked by this, but then Mustafa Ali, they shake hands, but Mustafa Ali is kind of confused. And Mustafa Ali wants answers, and then on the Thunderdome, it is finally revealed that the hacker is Chad Gable. He returns, and he says that he and Mia Yim have been teaming up, getting recruits to fix the system. Mustafa Ali, you were at one point were gonna be the WWE champion, but then wrong place. Uh, you were at the wrong place at the wrong time, and they just forgot about you. Join me, and I guarantee you that you will be relevant once again. And Mustafa Ali agrees, and they do it. So now Retribution will be part of SmackDown, just SmackDown. They don't go to Raw because I was thinking of sending them to Raw, but they had the Hurt Business. They needed at least one good faction. If you have two factions on one show, it'll kill it off. So Retribution will be part of SmackDown. And here are the members of Retribution. Eventually, they're all going to get revealed, but the recruits are. Let me just pull out my list. So it's going to be Chad Gable, the leader, Mustafa Ali, um, Dio Madden, who was Mace, and Dominic Dijakovic, who was T-Bar. No Shane Thorne. I'm gonna be honest, I don't like Shane Thorne all that much. I always found him overrated. Dio Madden, at least he doesn't. He's not a good wrestler. He's not a good commentator either, but at least he has kind of a presence. And for the women, I have three girls. So Mia Yim is gonna be like the manager slash talking piece. And then the other women will be Rhea Ripley and Mercedes Martinez, two women who kind of hate each other, but they join forces, and they're the ones who take the belts off of Bailey and Sasha Banks, not Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Those girls could do things on their own. Personally, around this time, Shayna Baszler should have gone for the Raw Women's Championship anyways, so that's my take on it. But now Rhea Ripley and Mercedes Martinez, they're cleaning house. They're having a great showing. As far as the men's side of the Retribution, they're also doing great things. One thing you should know: Otis still becomes Mr. Money in a Bank, and Otis plans on cashing in on the SmackDown Tag Team Champions down the road. But Chad Gable in the other hand, it's like, hey, listen, I did you a big favor. I revealed to you that Dolph Ziggler was the one behind all of this, and yeah, you kind of owe me a favor. How about you give me that briefcase? And Otis, is thinking about it, and then he says no, and that's when Retribution all attack him. Tucker um wants ends up fighting him, and they do this storyline where it looks like Tucker um might turn his back on Otis because Chad Gable could be like, hey, listen, Otis is the star. What are you doing? Like, you're doing nothing. You're just Otis's sidekick. I always consider you the top guy. Basically, he gets in the mind of Tucker, but Tucker refuses to let it get to him. And then at Hell in a Cell, we do Otis versus Chad Gable for the Money in a Bank briefcase. Tucker does not turn on Otis, but Chad Gable does win clean the Money in a Bank briefcase. And Otis and Tucker are upset because they were gonna eventually cash in at WrestleMania for the tag team belts. And something else you should know, that the New Day become are your SmackDown tag team champions. The New Day don't split up. Big E does kind of go on a singles run, but the New Day still sticks together. This is important. But around this time, Kofi Kingston and is having some problems with Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali's kind of jealous that he took his spotlight. So at TLC 2020, it's going to be New Day, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods versus Mustafa Ali and Chad Gable, where Mustafa Ali and Chad Gable become your SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Um, we have them have a somewhat of a decent lengthy run. But then at Elimination Chamber, it's going to be a triple threat tag team championship match. It's going to be Retribution, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston. Or no, Xavier Woods and Big E, because Kofi Kingston got injured after Mustafa Ali beat the crap out of him, and Heavy Machinery. So those three tag teams will face each other, where Heavy Machinery will get the upset victory in the long run. So that will be a big shocking move that Heavy Machinery become the tag team champions, and Heavy Machinery go to WrestleMania um, for the tag team championships, or they go in as tag team champions, and they'll defend them against the Usos because that will be a good match. So where was Dominic Dijakovic? He'll be part of the Elimination Chamber, the SmackDown Elimination Chamber. He has a good showing that he's a great big man, and he could do some great things in the Elimination Chamber. That's my personal opinion. Big E will also be a part of that chamber, so we could do Big E versus Dominic Dijakovic on that match. D'Lo Madden could be like a good manager, or like a good person, like just like hyping. He could be a good hype man, you could say. As far as the women go, like Rhea Ripley starting to like show like her true colors. They get the belts off of so Mercedes Martinez and Rhea Ripley start feuding with each other because they lost the tag team belts to Asuka and Charlotte. They have a payoff match, even though Mia Yim is upset that this is happening. Rhea Ripley takes out Mercedes Martinez, where Mercedes Martinez goes back to NXT. And Rhea Ripley says that all she wants is to redeem herself. So at WrestleMania, it's Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair in a one-on-one match. What does Asuka do? She'll defend it against Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. As far as Retribution go, around this time, Mustafa Ali and Dominic Dijakovic are starting to build themselves up as top-tier main event talents, or mid-card talents to say the least, and they don't really need Chad Gable anymore. And Chad Gable's like, you guys were nothing without me, so we all got to stick together. And they still stick together, but they're slightly more mad about it. So at WrestleMania, it's going to be a 6-man tag team match. It's all 3 members of the New Day versus Chad Gable, Mustafa Ali, and Dominic Dijakovic. And you guessed it, New Day win, and then Mustafa Ali and Dominic Dijakovic just walk out, and Chad Gable's like, "What the hell? What are you guys doing?" and this and that. And later they'd have an interview with Chad Gable, like, "How do you feel? Do you think Retribution's over?" And he's like, "Okay, Retribution may be over, but Chad Gable, his career is not over. My career is still going on. I will be at the top." So the next night on Raw, we have a random match involving Drew McIntyre where Drew McIntyre hurts his leg. The match ends with Drew McIntyre winning. It could be a 6-man tag, whatever. Drew McIntyre has his moment, but he's kind of injured. Chad Gable returns to Raw, cashes in on Drew McIntyre, and now Chad Gable is the WWE champion. And this will get him even more nuclear heel heat, let's give him a workhorse run. He would be a good, up to this point, Chad Gable would be a good workhorse champion. So he'll hold the belt up until SummerSlam, where Drew McIntyre returns from injury. Chad Gable versus Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam in a proper match. And you guessed it, Drew McIntyre wins back the belt. But now Chad Gable's more established. He's more of a star, and people would love him. What do you guys think? I could keep going honestly, but this video is too long. It's almost, we're at the 30 range, almost hitting 40. So I'll just close it there. It's me, the ALE Double X Prince. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Let me know if you want me to keep going or what have you. Other some suggestions. Comment down below. Till then, I'm out.